I wanted to cover that the fact that, I think, in my opinion, the obvious fact that Joe Biden doesn't want to push for any kind of minimum wage hike, especially a $15 minimum wage hike. I think maybe he would be okay with something a little bit lower. But it looks like Politico covered, it's another Politico article, they covered how so Joe Biden held a meeting with multiple governors and some mayors as well, where he said that, so according to the headline, Biden privately tells governors minimum wage hike likely isn't happening. So, I mean, that's pretty, likely isn't happening. I'm surprised he even said likely isn't happening. So, but like, that's just another way for him to just like be like, yeah, I'm pretty much going to give up on it because I never believed in it to begin with. So, yeah, I'm just going to pretty much give up and just let you guys deal with it. Let the Senate deal with it when it comes to reconciliation. And he goes over that in this, or they go over that in this article. But so let's see. So let's read the article here. I'm just going to go through a couple of the parts. So yeah, Biden privately tells governors minimum wage hike likely isn't happening. It says President Joe Biden says when Joe Biden met with a group of mayors and governors last week, he bluntly told them to get ready for a legislative defeat. His proposed minimum wage hike was unlikely to happen, he said, at least in the near term. And this is a quote from Biden. It says, "I really want this in there." No, you don't. "But it just doesn't look like we can do it because of reconciliation," Biden told the group, according to a person in the room. "I'm not going to give up, but right now we have to prepare for this not making it." I don't even fucking believe that second part. I don't think he's going to be, I don't think it's, I think he is definitely giving up. He's not going to want to do, he's not going to do this for a while. Why, what, I don't understand. Let's say 3 months from now, all of a sudden you're going to change your mind, you're going to be in favor of pushing hard from $15 minimum wage? That doesn't make any sense. You're not doing it now because you don't want it. And you're already giving in to the Republicans because you don't have the votes. And you can easily do it through reconciliation. Now, you can say the aforementioned Joe Manchin doesn't want it, so maybe that doesn't make it very likely. But you can still go out there and get votes. The same exact thing by the way, Joe Biden is pushing for, like I said, is still publicly pushing for Neera Tanden to be confirmed as the head of OMB. He's willing to go out there and get the votes, but he's not willing to go out and get the votes for a minimum wage hike, which is going to help a hell of a lot more people than Neera Tanden being the head of OMB. You can put anybody in the head of OMB, and the government is going to work is going to be running the same exact way it's always has run. So it doesn't make any difference. But notice the difference. Joe Biden is happily willing to push for making sure to get all the votes for the head of the OMB to get confirmed, but not for a minimum wage hike, not for $2,000 checks, not for, any kind of real progressive leftist legislation. And that just shows not even so much that he's weak, he just doesn't care. And he just doesn't want to push for anything because he knows that his corporate donors aren't going to be happy about it. It says the comments, which were confirmed by two other people familiar with the conversation, were the furthest Biden has gone in conceding the coming action of the $15 an hour minimum wage provision from his first major legislative package, and they suggest that the president is more inclined to manage the fallout of it not being included than to pursue long-shot political capital-consuming efforts to fight for its insertion. Sitting in the Oval Office with Republican and Democratic elected officials last Friday to advocate for his $1.9 trillion COVID relief package, by the way, which doesn't have any fucking stimulus checks, by the way. That's wonderful. Giving all that $1.9 trillion and you can't even fucking put a $1,400 or $2,000 stimulus check. It says, doesn't look like we can do it. It doesn't look like we can do it, he said, of the minimum wage hike. Since for weeks now, the White House has been trying to manage expectations on the feasibility of advancing a $15 an hour minimum wage provision through a broader rescue package. Biden first suggested it might not make it to the final COVID relief bill in an interview with CBS prior to the Super Bowl, noting his belief that the Senate parliamentarian would determine it did not jibe with budgetary rules that allow a bill to pass with just 51 votes in the Senate. Let's see. His comments drew pushback from fellow Democrats. It just talks about Pramila Jayapal, the congresswoman from Washington. She pushed back against that. I don't expect her to really push much harder than that. And a couple of Republicans stressed to Biden in the group that he didn't think raising the wage was directly related to the immediate problems caused by the pandemic. Oh my God. Okay, so obviously he's, I think a lot like Trump, Joe Biden just listens to whatever that the last person in the room. This is something that Kyle Klinsky from Secular Talk mentioned. Donald Trump would do this. He would listen just to the last person in the room that says something that he wants to hear, and then he goes with it. I think Joe Biden's just doing the same exact thing. He's just listening to the last person that leaves the room, and some governor from some state. In this case, was apparently the governor of Maryland, Larry Hogan. And he's a Republican. Why is he going to push for? He's a Republican. He's not going to want to push for a minimum wage of any kind, really. And he's going to listen to people like that. He's going to listen to all his fucking idiot advisors who don't want to push for any kind of hike. And that's what Biden does. And he's a simpleton, and he's, he doesn't care about helping regular people. He just doesn't want to piss off his donors, and that's how he rolls. And yeah, I mean, listen. You can get it done through reconciliation. It's a perfectly. Is it a tough process? Yes, but that's the thing. Joe Biden doesn't want to do what's tough. He just wants to do what's easy, and that's why he did a lot of executive orders, which is the same thing that Trump did. He did a lot of executive orders in those first, few days of his presidency. I think it was the first week, basically. He pushed 15 or something executive orders. Great, that's wonderful. But those are easy things to do. Joe Biden doesn't want to do the heavy lifting of any hard work. He's not even doing it. It's the members of the Senate that are doing it. But he doesn't want to go through that because he doesn't want to lose his political capital, which he's already doing anyway. He doesn't even lose it. He just gives away the political capital. He doesn't even give a fuck about maintaining any kind of political capital that's going to help people. He wants to use the political capital that is going to benefit his donors and the people that are obviously in his administration that are advising him, that basically pretend as if they're like the smartest people in the room and they know what the fuck they're talking about, when in reality they're just a bunch of corporate shells, basically. So we'll see what happens with Bernie and stuff, as far as because Bernie has really been pushing hard for getting the $15 minimum wage. I think it should be higher. It should be $20 or even $25 a minimum wage. $15 is a fucking joke. But we'll see what Bernie does. I don't see Bernie really. I don't see him convincing Biden or anything like that. The whole push it left strategy and Joe Biden has the potential to be the next FDR or something. That was never going to happen. I never believed it for a second, even with Bernie as chairman of the budget committee. Still doesn't fucking matter. If he's not even strong enough to oppose Neera Tanden as the head of the OMB, why would the fuck would he, when he's the chairman of the committee that would be confirming her or not confirming her? Why the fuck would he be pushing for any harder for that? I don't see it happening. So sorry. I mean, it's hard to believe that Bernie is going to be our savior, and we can't really rely on that anymore. At this point, it's gotten so bad that we need to rely on a general strike, or fucking protest in the street, or maybe our own version of our leftist insurrection and storming into the Capitol, which is obviously frowned upon. Can't do that because God forbid you upset AOC and make her feel like she's going to get murdered, as she claimed. So yeah, I mean, we're fucked, man. I don't know what else to say. We're in a situation where it's honestly do or die, because in a few months people are going to be getting kicked out of their homes because they can't pay their fucking rents, they can't pay their mortgages on their homes. I don't really know what else people can do to convey to these corrupt politicians, these corporatist corrupt politicians, and let them know how fucked over we are. They're living perfectly fine. AOC, Ilhan Omar, they're all living perfectly comfortably. Are they saying the nice things or the right things sometimes? Sure. But that's not enough. We need policies. Policies are the things that we need. Policies are the things that we need to make sure happen. It doesn't matter how many nice things you say on Twitter and great things you say on Twitter. Trump did that too. Trump said a bunch of wonderful things on Twitter for his supporters. The difference is he a lot of times would actually back it up because he was able to get motivated by the support. AOC and all these other people, they're not getting support from us. Now they're maybe getting a lot of support from the neoliberal, neo-progressive, Democratic Party loyalists, but that's not going to be from the base. It's not going to be from the actual people that believe in actual political, making actual political moves that's going to impact a large chunk of people in this country.